Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Moving the Chains. I hope you're all having an exciting morning. I know the East Coasters are up early, got some London football, and it's getting better. So I feel like that's exciting. I'm excited also to have in, of course, Joe is back, and we've got Jalen here with us. How are you guys?
Doing well. Good morning, everybody.
Joe's got
Doing great.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Doing great. Loving this week 5 matchup here, football early, and we got a great slate of games ahead of us. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like for you, you must love the 9. You wake up, have your coffee, you get to watch some football.
I know for me, I actually I haven't even ate food yet. Like as soon as I got quite a little, I woke up around like 9:20. So yeah, as soon as I just rolled out the bed, turned on my TV, and I've just been watching football this entire time.
Yeah. That's legit how the West Coast feels. You just make your tea, watch your games. Well, not me, because it's obviously 8 in the morning, but.
Well, I mean, I would say it's better for you all because you all wake up and you all get the 1 o'clock games, and then you all get to, when it's Sunday night football, you all actually get to go to sleep like on time at a reasonable time. I got to stay up at least until about 11:30, maybe even midnight if the game goes to overtime, and then if I got work the next day, I'm like, all right, dang, I got.
Get my sleep. And your adrenaline's all up because the game was crazy in the last second. Yeah.
Right.
Best of both worlds, the mountain time, man.
I was going to say, Joe moved. He's got the better side.
Mm-hmm. Best of both worlds, for sure. My first year out here, the Super Bowl was over, and I was like, what time is it? They're like, oh, it's almost 9 o'clock. And I was like, what? On the East Coast, like Jalen said, Super Bowl is over. You pack up your stuff, go back to your house, and go right to bed. Right. I was like, 9 o'clock. What do we do now?
Yeah, for sure. Your adrenaline's up, and you get to go out. All right. Do we have our rapid fire results?
From last week?
Just like our total accumulation.
No, we do not.
Okay, we'll do that next week. All right. Well, then let's start things off with our first matchup of the day. We're going to talk about the Broncos and the Eagles. And I think this matchup could be fun, but it also could be explosive on Philly's side. Denver is coming off of a big win, and I read that Sean Payton is 50-17 in October. So maybe this is the flip of the script that the Broncos need to be successful against the Super Bowl team. And I just want to hear so far what you guys think is going well with Denver. They're 2-2, some 2 tough losses, but I think so far we're seeing Bo Nix kind of come out of the sophomore slump. So, Jalen, what do you think the Broncos are doing well so far?
Well, obviously, start off, you can't overlook just how good their running game has been. Last week, they almost had, even though it's the Bengals, they almost had at least almost close to about 200 yards on the ground between RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. So, yeah, they're going to need that again this week. They can't get away from the run. And also, stay on offense. Bo Nix has continued to improve. I know early on in the year, it looked like maybe it's going to be a sophomore slump, but Bo Nix has gotten back comfortable in the offense under Sean Payton. They used a lot of play action last week, and I expect them to do a lot of the same to keep Bo Nix in the offense very comfortable. But yeah, this is a huge test for Bo Nix. The Eagles have won the last 20 of their 21 games. Mm-hmm. So that's very crazy. But yeah, Bo Nix is definitely going to have to be on point for this one.
All right. Well, before we talk about more Broncos, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about A.J. Brown. I think that is going to be a huge factor in this game, just the locker room behavior and how the guys are feeling. I want to hear, Joe, what did you think when you saw the A.J. Brown tweet, of course, go viral here?
I mean, I just think it's another case of a guy who's a competitor just being frustrated. I mean, he knows that when he gets the ball in his hand and is allowed to make plays, he's shown time and time again he's a playmaker, one of the more elite receivers in the league. And I think he's just being frustrated, that's all. I mean, he knows what the offense is capable of. He knows what he's capable of. And he felt like he wasn't being used the right way. But like he said, when he had this opportunity to talk to the media, he even said it. I was just frustrated. Should have used a different outlet probably besides social media, but that's the day and age we live in today. I mean, athletes can leave the arena or leave the stadium and you think everything's going well. Then they post something on Instagram and you're like, whoa, I had no idea this person was disgruntled. But he said he has no problems with the coaching staff. They talk all the time. He talks to Jalen Hurts, his quarterback, all the time. So I think it's much to do about nothing. I think that maybe obviously that's something he could have done differently as far as express his frustrations. But like I said, that's today's age. That's today's athlete, where most athletes, not all, when there's an issue, instead of confronting it directly, will post something on social, and then through back channels or whatever, most times the issue gets solved, or sometimes you get traded. But I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, the trade rumors in between this tweet and this game, that is just such a weird concept from the Eagles. Like, we know you're not trading AJ Brown. There's just no way. But another thing is that Devontae Smith mentioned that he is silently feeling the same. Like, he's not vocalizing what is going on, but he also agrees with AJ Brown. So I think when you have two stellar wide receivers who are not getting the ball, we can all attest to that. We've seen, Jalen Hurts was held to and no passing in the second half against Tampa. So something is clearly not working. Even though this team is winning games, the wide receiver core is lackluster. So in case you didn't see it, Devontae Smith said that, AJ Brown is a great leader. He's like most of the guys on the team, wants the best, and things aren't going well for us. So I definitely feel the same as him. So I feel like that alone, your two wide receivers, you're going into a Denver Broncos defense who is top notch. I think they've really proved themselves with the 4-game streak, even though their record does not show it. And so those factors could put a little bit of damper on the Eagles offense. So I want to hear, now I'm giving Joe the Eagles, what do you think is going to change against this team? And they have a home game, so I feel like that also helps.
I just think if I'm the Eagles, you got to let Jalen Hurts throw the ball a little bit more, obviously. I mean, let's satisfy the receivers and give them what they want. Let's give those guys opportunity to make plays, because you can ask any Eagles fan, when given the opportunity, more times than not, either Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown is making that play, whether it's a clutch third down catch or a really important touchdown catch. So let's give those guys a chance. Jalen Hurts has shown he's more than capable of throwing the ball around the yard. If the passing game is not working, you still have an all-star running back in the backfield with Saquon Barkley. So I think maybe if I'm Nick Sirianni, yes, we are undefeated, but there have been a lot of close games there. Let's change it up a little bit. Maybe we do come out and let Jalen Hurts throw the ball around a little bit, get those guys involved in the game plan and in the game early, so that they're really, really in tune and locked in for the game, and we'll see what happens. And like I said, if the passing game is not going well, you have a great stud you can lean on and a great offensive line to get that running game going. And like you mentioned, Ashmere, Denver's defense is really, really good. I mean, you got Patrick Surtain II back there up against A.J. Brown. What better way to say I'm frustrated, I want the ball more, and then your next matchup's against the best corner in the NFL. So we're gonna see what the Eagles passing game is all about here in a couple hours.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a huge factor, is AJ versus the defensive player of the year, and how he can talk that talk and obviously play the game. We've seen AJ say things on social media. Next game, he's got 2 touchdowns, 200 yards. Everybody with fantasy, AJ Brown, including myself, is very pleased. So what can the Broncos defense here do in reverse, Jalen? So I'll give you the other side of the ball. Defensively, how do they stop all of the things that Joe just listed can be their go-to factors?
Well, obviously, having the best corner in the game, Randy Defensive Player of the Year, is a huge factor on your side. So I expect Pat Surtain to be on A.J. Brown a lot of the game. And also, they need to create they need to continue to create a lot of pressure up front and also be great in the red zone. They were if you watch the amount of how fast that some of their guys up front were getting off the ball on Monday Night Football, it was pretty crazy. They need to continue to keep that up and just cause as much havoc and chaos as up front to give Bo Nix a chance to win the game for them down the stretch. Yeah.
I think if the Broncos hold back on mistakes, this game could be far more exciting. But anything that you give up, you're giving the Eagles that opportunity to win. And their special teams and their defense are really the reasons they're winning these games. Like, they've only won by 1 score last week, I really don't know how the Broncos, they're just the same kickoff that they were blocked. Same idea, just different week. I also wanted to ask, did you guys see the article come out that said special teams kicker coaches have said they haven't had time to practice? So that's why there's so many blocked kickoff returns. I'm going to have to put it in the chat later after the commercial and just see, because I saw that and they interviewed a bunch of special teams head coaches and they said that they don't have time to practice because there's so many different changes going on because of this new kickoff rule. So in case everybody has read the article, drop it in the chat. I want to know your thoughts and if you think that is real or is it lazy? I don't know. Could be a new segment. Okay. Next up, we're going to talk about I put the same one here. Hold on. Here we go. This game will be very fun. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield have changed their lives in different ways. Sam Darnold, of course, took off with Minnesota. Now he's here in Seattle, another top defense. But the Bucs are injured all across the board. There are so many injuries on this team. Baker Mayfield is even injured. They're without Bucky Irving. So I feel like this is going to be a really tough matchup if the Bucs figure it out. But I don't want to reveal too much. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Jalen, Bucs injuries, Chris Godwin's back. So many things are happening in this team. What do you think they did well last week against the Eagles, even though they got a loss?
Well, first, it's definitely great that they were able to get back in the game in the second half. But still, getting in a hole like that against a team like the Eagles is just not what you want to see. And facing this Seahawks team is also another game where you do not want to get in the hole especially when you have a slew of injuries on both sides, especially on defense when you're down multiple starters. And when you're facing that passing defense that the Seahawks have, and they're getting starters back, Baker Mayfield, he has his work cut out for him. Chris Godwin has to step up. Emeka Egbuka has to be on point again. He's looked great so far as a rookie. So they're going to need another great game from him today for the Bucs to have a chance to win offensively. Baker Mayfield has to take care of the ball. And, you could honestly argue that, you may have to expect a perfect game from Baker offensively, but man, it's very tough for them. It's hard to say, but what do you guys think?
I feel like I could tell what your rapid fire pick is going to be just from how hard it's going to be.
Yeah, maybe, I know no spoilers just yet, but man, it's just hard to say, man. I like this Bucs team. They've been great, but when you're just facing so many injuries just 5 weeks into the season, when your quarterback's hurt, your star tackle is hurt, multiple defenders on the other side of the ball is hurt, man, it's just tough, man. The Seahawks aren't a slouch.
Yeah, totally. All right, Joe. Sam Darnold, what do you think he's been like so far with this Seattle team?
I think that he's just shown that the huge contract he got in the offseason was deserved. I know that was a big thing people were talking about, like, oh my God, no more Kevin O'Connell, no more quarterback whisperer. Did the Seahawks get fleeced again? I mean, people that think about way back in the day, they signed a quarterback, I can't remember his name, from the Packers to be their starting quarterback to this mega contract, and he got beat out by this guy by the name of Russell Wilson. So I know a lot of Seahawks fans were thinking, oh man, we're going to have buyer's remorse again. I don't think his numbers have been spectacular, but at the same time, he has been better than average and has gotten Seattle in a position where they still should be able to discuss playoffs and talk about having a chance to at least make some noise in a very, very competitive NFC West. So I think Sam Darnold is doing the job that they're paying him to do. I think that he's also starting to develop some relationships, some of those receivers out there. You got another guy, Cooper Kupp, trying to redeem himself and kind of show people that he still has what it takes to be a playmaker in the NFL. And then, of course, you got Walker in the backfield who you can always lean on to get things going. So I think if I'm a Seahawks fan, I like what I've seen so far from Sam Darnold. And I think that today, against a Bucs defense with Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator, Sam's going to have to throw the ball all around the yard and make some plays when they come available.
Yeah, and I think he will do just that with JSN. I think leading the league right now. He's currently second in receiving yards behind, of course, Puka Nacua, which everybody could guess that with their eyes closed because Puka Nacua is doing unreal work down there. So he is obviously going to be a huge factor, and this Bucks team is banged up, as Jalen put, and I feel like that's just a recipe for disaster. And you're playing in Seattle. I feel like Seattle is one of the places I never would want to play in if I was a football team. I went there for an Oregon game, hated it. Just hated that.
12th man. They are passionate up there. It's loud.
Yeah, they're throwing food at you, like you're just a college kid. What the hell?
They do not care.
All right. Well, I don't want to give too much away, but I do want to hear what the Bucks are doing well. And I think Jalen touched on it a little bit, so I'll toss it back to you, Joe. What do you think the Bucks did well last week against the Eagles, even though they got a loss?
I think you talked about it before, Ashmere. The loss of Bucky Irvin's huge. But that's a guy who's not just good in the running game, but is also, I'd say, almost elite in the passing game as far as the screen game, being able to get key first downs. I think that the passing game is doing really well. You got a great rookie out of Ohio State making big plays. Mike Evans still hobbled with a hamstring. And then you got Chris Godwin working his way back into the offense. But it's Baker Mayfield, right? The guy with the biggest chip on his shoulder. So he's going to go out there, give it his all, try to make plays when they come available. Hopefully he doesn't give the ball away too many times to an opportunistic Seattle defense. But I think for the Bucks, the passing game has been really, really good. Their running game has been good enough. If they're able to get their passing game going and make the Seahawks have to think about things a little bit and not just be able to pin their ears back and attack Baker Mayfield all game long, they'll be in good shape. So the Bucks passing game has been one of their strengths this entire season. Yeah,
I feel like this is the game that Chris Godwin lights it up. Like last week, he didn't have limited touches and he still was second behind Amika. I feel like that's going to be the same thing. That's just going to there's no other way to beat Seattle if you're not throwing the ball. But doesn't it feel like Baker Mayfield just gets attacked like every single play? Like that man is getting thrown to the ground and he just gets back up, shrugs it off, and like he just doesn't look like he's broken his bones ever. I feel like that's like the Baker special. He always looks fantastic.
He's an old school.
He's banged up though, like every
He's an old school football player. I love when he gets up, talks trash to defensive players. He's stiff arming guys. And like you said, an ankle injury one play, the next play he looks fine. So I don't know, superhuman or just fighting through the injuries. He's definitely one of my favorite players in the NFL.
Yeah, I feel like his vibe, like he's giving like a Tampa dad vibe. Like he's gonna fight you. You know what I mean? He's really embraced the Tampa-ness. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna go into the matchup that we think is the worst of the week, our boo-boo matchup. So stay tuned, everyone. We will be right back.
You are watching Team NBS Media. We are a digital media brand covering sports, entertainment, and lifestyle, with team members all across the country. Through our written content, podcasts, and video content, we bring you fresh and professional content. Interested in joining the team? Shoot us an email or DM.
In 2006, we founded Yeti Coolers with a simple mission: build a cooler we use every day if it existed. One that was built for the serious outdoor enthusiasts rather than for mass discount retailers. One that could take the abuse we knew we'd put it through, out in the field and on the water. One that simply wouldn't break. We decided early on that production innovation would come from necessity and first-hand experience, not from market research and data analysis. Today, Yeti products perform when it matters most. Whether that be an excursion into the remote Alaskan wilderness, chasing redfish on the Gold Coast, or just getting together with friends in the backyard, we make gear that helps you stay out longer, travel farther, and live harder. # built for the wild.
What's up, everyone? Good morning. Welcome back to Moving the Chains here. My name is Ashmere. If you're joining us from the fun Vikings-Browns game, thanks for tuning in. I'm here with Jalen and Joe, and we've already talked about two crazy games. I feel like they're very defensive heavy. We've covered Bucks, Seahawks, and Broncos, Eagles. And next, we're going to talk about a game that we think is not going to be so exciting. Oop, not that one. I lost it.
Not at all.
Hold on. That one will be exciting. Technology when you're doing your own. All right. Our boo-boo matchup of the week is the Carolina Panthers against the Miami Dolphins. And before we go into anything, I want your reactions. What do you guys think? Is this like one of the worst matchups of the week?
Yeah, I definitely think it is. I mean, you got a Miami team that just lost Tyreek Hill for the season. Maybe I think it's probably his last game wearing a Dolphins uniform. Mike McDaniel just can't get it right. And then you got the Carolina Panthers. I mean, think about the offseason. Oh, they sat down Bryce. They sat down Bryce Young last year. He came back. We all thought he was improving and played a lot better towards the second half of the season. He'll build off of that in the offseason. He'll come back next year and be a great NFL quarterback. And every time I watch a Panthers game, I turn it on when I'm watching Red Zone or whatever, it's always Bryce running for his life. It's never like calm and cool in the pocket. Hey, a guy's wide open. I mean, you had that blip in the Matrix where they beat the Falcons, I think 30-0. Okay, since then, and then after that, it was like back to Bryce running for his life. Great wide receiver draft pick out of Arizona who's playing really good football. But besides that, the Panthers are just a mess on the defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball. I think these are just two teams that are very, very confused, don't have an identity, and just aren't playing good football.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you hit it all on the head. All right, Jalen, what are your thoughts?
This is a mid-off. It's a mid-off. Like when your team is so bad to the point where you have content creators and other guys with their own podcasts or shows just saying, I just can't do this anymore. Your team is in a terrible spot. And that's the Panthers. On Miami side of the ball, man, Mike McDaniel continues to be on a hot seat. Tua, hopefully he's getting back on track. Last week versus the Jets, division opponent, he looked solid. The offense looks decent, even with Tyreek Hill being out. But man, on paper, these are two teams that you definitely don't want to go out of your way to watch if you're not a fan. But based on how some of these guys look, I could potentially see a higher scoring game. I don't know about shootout, but yeah, the defenses are weak on both sides. So, we'll see.
Well, let me pull up some numbers here. Last time these two teams played, the score was 42-21 for the Dolphins, 33-10 in 2021 Dolphins. Panthers 45, Dolphins 21. So I think you're on trend here, Jalen, with this high scoring prediction. Panthers 20, Dolphins 16. That was 2013. And then 2009, we've got Dolphins 24, Panthers 17. So I want to say in the last 3 years, we've seen the Panthers not be that great. And so having high scoring makes sense, checks out. Great call here, Jalen. I personally think as well, this is just a tough time for the Panthers franchise and for the Dolphins. Beginning of the season, no one really knew what their identity was. You lose your star wide receiver who looked like he was celebrating that he was getting off the field. I don't know about you, but that's really the energy I got from him. Just thanking the Lord he's getting out of there. That's not a good sign. That's not what you want to see from your guy that is supposed to be one of the best. And I think when it comes to Tua, of course, we've talked about it, and anyone who watches football has talked about it, just like the way that he plays football and the way that he's prone to these concussions. It just feels like everything is kind of shifted within Miami. Is Mike McDaniels able to bring them back? It just feels like he's carrying all these things in his hands and he can't control them all. And nothing is going right with this Dolphins offense. And of course, riddled with injuries in the Panthers side. Can't get anything going offensively. The defense, I feel like they put their energy on the field, but obviously you can't maintain that if your team is not putting up points. You're going to get exhausted and you can't close out games if your defense is trying to hold back a strong team and nobody's putting up points. There's no way it makes any sense. And referencing what Jalen said was the podcast that was shut down by the Panthers. These are just two guys that love the team and didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, I don't know how you could go game in and game out talking about the same issues that are not changing. And that's the same sometimes when you think about the Raiders. How do you change it,
That's just wild. I mean, for your fans to be so beat down, so disillusioned that, you know what, we're not even going to do a podcast anymore because there's nothing positive to talk about. And like I said, I'm not a Panthers fan. But obviously, like anybody else, I'm glued to the TV on Sundays, and every single time, except for that little blip we saw when they beat the Falcons, they show a play from the Panthers game. It is Bryce Young running for his life, and then either he's throwing an interception, getting sacked, incomplete pass. One bright shining star at wide receiver who's got to be thinking, man, I'm happy to be in the league. I'm glad I got drafted top 10 overall, but this team sucks.
Yeah, I think if you got the first round pick, this is what you're looking at 2 years in. It's just tough. Last year, like you mentioned, Bryce getting benched. I feel like that obviously set the tone for like what the franchise is thinking or not thinking. So I feel I want to hear what do you think is going to happen in this game? What goes right? What do the Panthers do right here? What does the Dolphins offense do right here? I think we're going to see a lot of running the ball here, but that's just because how much do you trust Bryce Young to throw the ball? I don't know. All right, so Jalen, what do you think is going to go right here, quote unquote? And I'll put right in quotes.
Yeah, of course. So, for Miami, first things first, Carolina has given up at least 26 points, I believe, in about the last 3 or 4 games. Obviously, they got beat down last week by the Patriots. I expect a little bit more of the same from Miami. I could definitely see Miami putting up 28, 30 points at least. Devon Achane should be a huge factor in this game as well, along with Jalen Waddle. Achane has been averaging, I think, at least about 5 yards a carry so far to start the year. So, I expect bigger roles from him, a bigger role from Jalen Waddle, since he's pretty much wide receiver 1 now. We could potentially see Darren Waller, another X factor in this game. But
Darren Waller.
He just got off the couch and just gave us 2 touchdowns.
For sure.
What? But like we mentioned, like we talked about with the Panthers, Bryce Young, he is not really pushing the ball downfield. Like he's been running around for his life. He's averaging under 6 yards per attempt. It's not looking good for him. But Miami is. I'm pretty sure they're giving up the highest passer rating to quarterbacks this season, with about 125.1. Like they gave up 111 to Justin Fields last week. So if there was ever a get right game for Bryce Young, it would have to be today. And if it isn't, then they just got to just start looking towards the draft next season, in which I don't know what quarterback they're going to take, because class ain't looking that good, at least in my opinion. So you all can tell if you can't tell who I'm leaning towards for the rapid fire, I don't know what to tell you. So
Yeah, no, I think you're right. The Miami defense doesn't look that great. I think if Bryce Young shows flashes of good offense here, that's exciting, but it's against a team that is also struggling so heavily that we have no idea what's going to happen. So that's our boo-boo matchup of the game of the week. And honestly, I'm not watching that game. But it is a good fantasy game, That's where a lot of points are going to be earned. Achane is going to, I think, have 2 touchdowns at least on the ground, 1 in the air, 1 on the ground. Like, there's just a lot of fantasy managers are going to be very happy for how they drafted from the Miami offense. All right, next up, we're going to go into our rapid fire picks. Be sure to drop your picks in the chat. Let us know who you think is going to take over today. All right. Do you have the board? Do I?
Updated and ready to go, boss. I did my job.
Okay.
It is updated, shared, and ready to go with this week's matchups.
Okay, everyone, hold on.
I had to edit it a couple of times because I might have been half asleep when I was starting it, but it's done.
That's okay.
And then next week we'll have the overall leaderboard. I'd like to just say that last week, 2 great picks by me. I picked Jacksonville to beat the 49ers, and I also beat the Giants. I picked the Giants. You guys laughed and asked me, what was I crazy? I picked the G-Men to beat the Chargers. The dark era, baby. I need to find that clip. People are like, I don't believe you. I need to find the video.
We definitely got to see that clip right there.
Yeah, I will find the video and timestamp it where I picked Jacksonville and I picked the Giants to win last week.
All right, everyone can see?
Not yet.
No? It says
This week is hard. There's some tough matchups.
Some tough, some not.
Yeah. And please text me when you guys see a Bryce Young highlight where he's doing something good. Shoot me a text. I want to see it because I just all I ever see is this poor kid running for his life, man. And I'm not saying he's washed. I think he still has a chance to be a legitimate NFL quarterback. I think.
All right, bang. Houston at Baltimore.
You can go first on that one, Jalen.
Well, man, Cooper Rush is in for Lamar Jackson this week.
Yeah.
The Texans have also just been in a rough spot as well. Backup in for the Ravens. I'm going to lean and go Texans here for this one.
Wow.
I think CJ Stroud, I think he takes this as a game to, get back on track for the Texans.
Really?
Yeah, that's a crazy pick. I think I'm going to still go Ravens here because Derrick Henry is still on this team. But if he fumbles again, that'll change the flow for me.
Man, yeah, Cooper Rush. So that means you're going to heavily rely on King Henry in this game, obviously. You know what? I rode with this guy a lot his rookie season. He's fallen off. I'm going to give CJ Stroud another chance. I'll go Houston.
Wow. I'm lone wolfing on Baltimore. Who would have thought? I don't have their logo. Don't ask me why. I guess I've never made
Ravens fans clicking away from the show in real time right now.
I've never made any Baltimore Ravens stuff, but whatever. All right. Next up, we've got the boo-boo game of the week, Miami and Carolina. Jalen, who are you picking?
Yeah. I definitely got Miami here. Carolina, it just seems like anything can't go right. Can't get any offense. Can't get any pass rush. Can't really do much. I got Miami here. I think they'll take this as a nice, decent game to keep Mike McDaniel safe for another week. So
1 week, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be unanimous on this one.
Yeah, I think it would be great to see Panthers take this away, but there's just no way.
Could we see a coaching change in Carolina mid-season? I wonder. I mean, it's only his second year, I want to say.
Did we see a mid-year ownership change too?
Yeah, the entire thing.
Panthers
right.
fans love it.
Commanders and the Chargers.
We're so inconsistent, so up and down.
Your boy is in a whole leg brace, okay?
Yes, understood. I'm going to go Chargers. I think after that loss they took last week to the Giants, Jim Harbaugh is going to have his guys ready to go. Hope I'm wrong, obviously, as a Commanders fan, but I think the Chargers take this game.
That's how you know Joe is thinking with his football brain because he doesn't even pick his own team.
No, I'm trying to get this. When we unveil the record so far next week, I want to be in the top.
I'd be picking the Raiders knowing they're going to lose. But all right, Jalen, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Chargers here. I don't think they lose back-to-back games like they did. I don't think they lose another game like they did last week versus the Giants. So yeah, give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I think the Giants exposed a lot of problems that the Chargers had, and I don't think the Commanders' defense has that right now. But so I'm gonna stick with you guys and go Chargers as well. All right. Speaking of the Raiders. We've got Mark Sanchez getting arrested in Indy. Indy's got a poppin' ass game today. Oops, sorry, I didn't swear. And because I thought that was crazy news. That
we're all good. This is an adult show.
sorry, kids. All right, Raiders and the Colts.
I'm going with Daniel Jones, baby. Danny Dimes, still getting it done. Might not have one. The Colts have been so bad. That might be a type-in name.
Jalen?
Yeah. I'm giving me Indianapolis as well. I don't think this is a game that the Colts will lose. Daniel Jones, man, who would have expected him to look as good as he has to start this season? So yeah, give me Indianapolis.
Is it Daniel Jones or is it Jonathan Taylor?
Oh, well, yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely both. It's definitely both. No doubt about it.
Taylor's a fantasy football stud, a great running back. I mean, it being banged up and not being used properly. It's both. I mean, even the loss last week, they could have won that game. You think about Mitchell dropping the ball before he got in the end zone. Then he had the holding call. I hope he has a better Sunday because I thought they were going to make that man walk home last week.
That's the truth. All right. Then we've got, speaking of the Giants again, Giants and New Orleans. Is Jackson Dart the guy?
He is today. I'm going G, man. I think the Saints might be one of the top 3 worst teams in the league. Till they get a real quarterback. Yes, till they get a quarterback.
Yeah, give me the Giants as well. I have the Saints currently with first pick next season to start the year. So give me the Giants.
Good for them.
Now unanimous again. Man, we got a streak going on with this unanimous picks. The streak continues.
All right. Dallas and the Jets.
Oh no! Is this the one where Aaron Glenn finally gets the team to play the way he wants them to play? I mean, I read some reports that he laid into them after the game. You could hear him screaming and yelling to the walls before the post-game presser. But this ain't college football. I don't know if the yelling and screaming works with professionals like it does in college. Man, and Dallas's offense showed last week they're explosive. Nah, I'm gonna go Cowboys for me.
Okay, Jalen.
I think so. I go Dallas as well, but I would think also that the most Cowboys thing is to put up 40 points against the Packers last week, and then to come out and just give you like 18 points this week or something like that. Yeah, I got Dallas here. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right, I feel like I want to pick the Jets just because I do think that the offense can do it. I just don't know if I believe in Justin Fields so much, which is a bummer. So I'm going to go with you guys and go for the Cowboys as well. All right. Denver and Philly. We talked about this game.
Just to be different, I'll pick the Broncos.
That's crazy. I'm picking the Eagles already.
Just to be different, I'm picking the Broncos.
But if they win, you know what? You are the king of the low.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, any given Sunday for sure. But I'm going Philly here. But yeah, this was definitely. I definitely see this as a close game for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like every other Eagles game we've seen so far.
Sure.
All right, Tennessee and Arizona.
Oof.
This is going to be our first boo-boo game for everybody watching.
And I mean, I really like what Cam Ward has been doing, but I do not see him getting his first win this week against that Cardinals team. So give me Arizona.
Yeah, that defense is definitely on one. I'm picking Arizona as well.
Yeah, we're unanimous in this.
But after Cam Ward, I was thinking, I don't think we've ever seen Bryce Young get as frustrated as Cam Ward did in that press conference this week. I feel like that's a huge turning point for him. He's calling out everybody. He's like, step up or get out.
There was a game last year, I think it was, where Bryce, even this year, I think it happened again, where Bryce Young threw his helmet up the sidelines. He got pissed off.
Yeah, but calling attention to the media is calling attention to your franchise, right?
For sure.
I think
I like Cam Ward.
Honestly, I think that says more about the Titans than it does Cam Ward. I mean, Callahan has already given up play calling duties. Honestly, when I watch the Titans, it feels like I'm watching 1-on-11. So yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I think that's why he's also frustrated. He's like, it's just me out here.
Cut the clip. I feel like I'm watching 1-on-11.
All right, Tampa Bay and Seattle.
This is tough.
Yeah. I mean, both teams are great. I mean, great Tampa Bay team, very good Seahawks team. But yeah, this is The Bucks are just too banged up right now. Give me Seattle.
I'm really picking Seattle because they're at home. If they were in Tampa, I might have picked Tampa.
Yeah, we'll be unanimous in this. I'll go Seattle as well.
We can't let Joe go last because he's just picking everybody.
I'll go first for the next 3 picks. I got you.
Okay, I'll give you a curveball here. Detroit or Cincinnati?
I'm gonna go Lions. Put up another 50 burger maybe against this Bengals team. Joe
sure.
Burrow, where are you?
Fantasy freaking feast right here.
Where are you, my boy? Joe Burrow. Tragic.
Okay,
Jalen, you don't have to answer.
Just give me Detroit next game.
New England and Buffalo. The division game.
Yeah, this is a really good divisional matchup. I really like the Patriots, but give me Buffalo. This is the game that Buffalo does not give up.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be considered a real legit Super Bowl contender, you got to beat down on the team you're supposed to beat down on. So I'm going to go Bills.
I think this game will be very exciting to watch. Another fantasy fun game. I think that they're going to be kind of similar to a shootout, which what does that say about the Buffalo defense?
And the Bills are doing their whiteout jerseys today, right? The all white iced out ones, I believe.
Oh, okay. Kansas City and Jacksonville.
Ooh, I want to go out on the limb again with the Jaguars. I do not. Chiefs.
I'm taking the Jaguars.
Patrick Mahomes gets it done. I'm going Kansas City.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from, Ash. This is, the Jags are much better on paper than a lot of people may give them credit for. That defense is very tough. They will test Patrick Mahomes in his offense for sure. But I think where the game is lost is on the Jaguars offense. If Spags makes it to where Trevor Lawrence has to go out and win the game for him, then I got the Chiefs winning this one for sure.
Yeah.
I'm lone wolfing on the Jags, everyone. What world are we in? All right. Is that it?
Thursday night game is Philadelphia at New York. Should have been the last one on the slide. Yep, that's Thursday night.
Oh, right here.
At New York.
Okay. Philly at New York. Well, you know where I'm
going to go Giants again. I'm going to keep on riding the dark train.
Yeah, honestly, depending on how today's games go, I could see the Giants upsetting Philadelphia. So, yeah, give me the Giants here as well.
And I'm lone wolfing on the Eagles. This is a crazy day.
And they're at home, too. Come on, man. That energy. Give me because they should win today against New Orleans. So you got a rookie quarterback that's going to come in there 2-0, back at home, Thursday night. The vibes are high. Yeah, give me the Giants.
Yeah, not just any rookie QB. I feel like Jackson Dart just walks around with like that white boy swag. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, here are our rapid fire results. Next week, we'll tell you where everybody's at in the standings. And unfortunately, Jalen, you're just lumped in with the guests. So you got to hope that they're doing something right, that they're giving you the right picks every week, because that's the only way that we're going to know who's where.
That's all good. Whoever's in after me, make sure you know ball, make sure you got your picks right.
Jalen could be one carrying. I should look it up.
We'll see.
I'll look up who's the leading guest right now. It's not Jeff. Maybe it is. I think we were pretty close that day. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Enjoy the rest of that Browns-Vikings game. And be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Thank you, Jalen, for joining us. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And be sure to like, subscribe, comment, Team NBS Media, everywhere you find your social media. And we will see you guys next week. Have a great Sunday.